All right, back at it, everybody. Strong finishes, fast track, Al Scharrer and Tim Hippenbecker. And getting into it, we just wrapped up some of the logistics in giving really clear directions. Part two here. In your notes, some just a place for you to capture your thoughts as we think about why is it so important to have strong finishes. And just like we have in a stellar start with the do now and very clear directions upon entry, we want an environment of peace. Because in an environment of peace, when teaching happens, learning can occur. And just like we referenced way back at the beginning, the giant snowball, every little thing we do matters. And everything we do is either establish an environment of peace or encouraging a classroom of chaos. And part of an environment of peace is always maintaining that environment through clear directions. And it includes when you are finished activity. So always keeping our students engaged with checks for understanding and making sure they know exactly what to do in each part of the lesson. And that'll set us up for success as well, because we can also narrate the positive of what students are doing. And it helps us frame for ourselves what we're looking for. And ultimately, a strong finish leads to a strong start of the next item on the agenda. So if I transition from religion to math and I'm in the same classroom, a strong finish to my religion lesson will ensure a strong start to the next lesson. Or a strong finish at reading in my reading lesson will ensure ensure a smooth transition as I start to transition my kids to lunch. And we'll see a video of that here coming up. So strong finish ends in peace. 100% of the students are engaged. Students are silent at a volume 0. And the teacher is calm and recovering from the lesson. I had to put this picture of the tennis ball in here because of the Wimbledon research. They researched the Wimbledon contestants, and the number one determining factor of the success of the players, since they were so equally matched in their skill ability, was how well the players rested in between sets. And that the way that they were able to rest, or the ability to rest in between sets, they found helped them perform at a higher level for the duration of the tennis match, thus leading the person who rested well in between sets to greater success and victory. And that's really important in the world of teaching, because we have to be very creative when we get to rest in between lessons, rest in between conflicts, rest in between questions. And it's really important that we build in these places to recover from teaching. And that can be when we're on our feet and or standing and monitoring students. Strong finish requires that we have clear directions, and it's really important, especially when you start this off, to understand the language and the value of investment. Bullet point 1, we need to invest time to clarify all directions in the process and explain everything and welcome questions. If you spend 5 minutes explaining 2 minutes of activity, that's okay. That's the kind of investment that we're talking about, especially when you first start this. That'll be completely normal. I would even say in some cases, very young learners or middle schoolers plan 5 to 10 minutes explaining 2 minutes of activity and still be okay with that, because at the end of the day, it's all about creating that environment of peace and normalizing that when a teacher says go, everyone in the classroom knows exactly what to do and everyone is working. And ultimately, ask your likely suspects to explain everything to the class. When we have our likely suspects, and by that I mean kids that need a lot of support, if kids that need a lot of support explain everything to everyone else, that will also increase the likelihood that they will, in fact, comply and be excited to accomplish the directions that we're given. And it really helps in that onboarding process.